What's up, guys? This is Tim Crouch with the Gutter Growth Podcast. I'm here with Jay Dunbar, and he's with Brand-Aid. Jay, let's introduce you to everybody.
Hey everyone, my name is Jay. Like Tim said, my company is called Brand-Aid, and I specialize in helping home service business owners get more leads from the internet, primarily through their Google listing.
Okay. How does that work? I know you're big on reviews.
I would say the easiest way to get things going, honestly, is to get a shit ton of reviews and respond to them. I've seen time and time again, as soon as you start that system in place, you're going to see your incoming calls jump up directly from your Google listing. So, Google Google wants you to use their properties, and if you use their properties and like respond to the reviews and do things like that, then they are going to look at you as more legitimate business than someone that doesn't, and it's going to help you in the rankings.
So the responding to the reviews actually pretty crucial.
That's part of the algorithm for sure. Yeah. And that's responding to good ones or bad ones. I mean, good ones are easy, obviously. Bad ones tend to be a little more finesse there. But if you can respond to a bad review and kind of flip the script and make it, hey, listen, I'm sorry, we do make mistakes. We're not perfect. We'd love to make it right. Email me at j@blah, blah, blah. Just something as simple as that. When someone's looking through reviews, they know that you're going to make mistakes. It's just how you respond to them.
They see that you're still professional about it.
Right, exactly. And that actually makes you more of a legitimate business than, 500 5 stars and no one ever complains. That looks like bullshit to me. Because that's not a real business. They somehow were able to kind of manipulate that. So always respond to the good ones and the bad ones, and the bad ones actually will get you more business if you handle it properly.
This podcast is sponsored by One Gutter Guard, the premium gutter guard that delivers the highest performance, quality, and value to your customers. From its different mesh filters to its unibody construction, One Gutter Guard can be the difference maker in your business. Are you interested in becoming part of the exclusive dealer network? Contact them today at onegutterguard.com or just give them a call. Now back to our show.
So if a company doesn't respond to one versus a company that does respond to them, Google's going to recognize that and push them further up.
Yep. That's part of the algorithm. I mean, no one knows exactly what the algorithm is, or Google would probably put them 6 feet under. So I know that they come out with statistics and stuff, and I know that like Google reviews and responding is over a third of the current algorithm. So that's a big one. And
that's pretty huge. It's a third of it.
Yes, it's a third of it. Other things happen to be like, listing on Google, directories like Yelp and Yellow Pages and stuff. Basically, Google looks at it like the more you get involved with their property and point links back to it and things like that, the more they realize you're a legitimate business. And they're going to try to send you business because ultimately they want the best results for their search queries and their visitors. So, if you are a gutter guy that has no reviews and doesn't, do anything with Google versus someone that gets tons of reviews, responds to them, posts and things like that, you're going to win every time. So, and to be honest with you, I like home service-based business guys because they get that, and they usually have a database of people they haven't reached out to. So, I'd recommend to get a flood of them is to, send out an email blast. You should go through your phone and basically send a link to any of your friends, family, coworkers, referral partners, ask for reviews. Just get out there and make it a huge priority, and I promise it'll pay dividends.
I know before I sold my company, I was one of the first companies that started getting a lot of reviews, and it definitely helped, not just with getting customers, but with getting the right price on the jobs and they already had that trust factor there. I already went into the meeting with trust before I even got there.
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of times I hear that is like, you go to the part where you're getting ready to quote them and they don't even give an objection because they want to have the highest rated most reviewed guy in their doing their job.
I know I'm an Amazon guy, so I like
Yep.
skip across anybody that's not over 4.5. Like I don't even
Yeah.
entertain it.
Yeah, it's I think Amazon kind of trained us that way as consumers, that
Mhm.
if you don't have 4.3, 4.4, 4.5, then you're missing out on at least half the business there.
Since reviews are so important nowadays, because we're like in
Mhm.
a review economy, what
Yep.
what do you suggest is the best way to get them? What have you find the easiest way for you to get
I
reviews?
mean, recently I've been having a lot of luck giving my folks like a Google review card.
Hmm.
So it just is a card that they tap on their phone and it leads them right to the Google link, and opens up and they can, give the 5-star reviews. I actually kind of tweaked mine to a point where it goes to a landing page that has a thumbs up, thumbs down. Thumbs up does go to Google, and then thumbs down captures the complaint and sends you the email. So you're able to kind of mitigate some of that. You're not going to stop all the bad reviews, but that's gonna stop 90% of them.
Because it's going to go directly to you and give you a chance to
Right.
fix it
Yeah,
before it goes.
mostly folks don't really want to throw you under the bus on Google. That they just know that that's the way to do it, right? In terms of like how you leave a review. So if you allow them to kind of get that complaint off their chest, they feel better about it. You follow up with an email, and then that helps mitigate the whole problem. And you
Because
can
they
hope,
feel hurt. They feel heard that way.
right? Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the
So
bad reviews are usually because they weren't heard somewhere on the
right. There was a communication
transaction.
breakdown of some sort, right? But with these cards, if you send out like an email blast, you'd be lucky to get like 5 out of 100,
Okay.
something like that. Now with that card, the customer's happy. You ask them, hey, do you have your phone on you? I'd love to, we'd love to get a 5-star review from you. And you just tap it on the phone and boom, you're good. So my
So
guys
you're
are
actually you're giving these to all your employees.
Yeah, my front, like customer facing guys. So, project managers of my clients or salespeople or whoever the case may be. It just makes, what I found is they'd always ask, and that's great. But then the customer would always say yes, but then they would never leave a review. So it's just like, let's just do it right now. They said they do it. You're basically putting the ball in their court. And
So it's kind of speeding everything up.
yeah, and
Their
it's
job's on
trickling.
their mind. You
Yeah,
did the job, they're happy. It's like here, you're happy. And
right, right.
what do
So
you
I
what do you do
found is
to
like, if I send out 100 review requests via text or email, I might get like 5 to 10 reviews, right? But if I do this with the cards, I'm getting 25 to 30 out of 100.
that's
So it's a
pretty huge.
huge difference, huge difference.
What are you doing to kind of prep them up for the review? Are you doing anything before the ending when you ask? Are you like
Yes,
flipping
yeah,
them?
yeah. I mean, I train my clients on that. Is basically part of the pitch is, listen, we don't substitute. We don't want anything less than a 5-star experience with you. If there's any problems, please let us know. But at the end of the job, we're going to ask for a review, and we'd really like a 5-star, and let us know if there's anything we can do to improve. So you
So
kind
they
of
already
take,
know you're looking to give them the best service and
yeah,
you're
yeah.
looking to get recognized for it in the end.
That's part of the sales pitch basically is, we don't we're striving for 5-star reviews. If you didn't get a 5-star service, then we'd love to hear from you and how we can make it right. But you know basically it sets that up in the back of their mind, like, oh, these guys are going to take care of me.
What do you find, besides asking for the review and giving good service, what do you find prompts them to want to give you a good review?
I mean, that is basically the lion's share of it, is just doing what you say you're going to do a good job. Um, if there is an issue, handling that in a timely fashion and not letting it just, die in email, or voicemail hell. Um, and I think really just kind of having clearly defined expectations from the customer, you know, um, and expectations meaning you're telling them what you're going to do, and as long as they're cool with that, then you should expect a 5-star review.
So it kind of boils down to communication and
Yeah.
if something goes wrong, fix it. And that
Yep.
usually keeps them happy and they'll still give you a good review.
Oh yeah. Oh, here's another little tip too. I have my guys give out an extra $20 little bonus to any of the employees to get their name in the Google review. So, that's going to be that's going to incentivize them to ask and also to have them put the name in there. So, and I think that helps too when you're reading reviews. If you see someone's name in there, it kind of personalizes it more versus like a blanket 5-star response. You know what I
Might
mean?
get a call, hey, I want this guy in my job.
Right, right, exactly. It sounds like this guy Noah kicks ass. I'd love to have him out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that helps for the sales from the sales side of things, salesmen, and also the PMs or whoever's doing your kind of final walkthrough.
So you could have this system, but if the guys aren't actually doing it, the system doesn't work. So you got to
Right.
kind of incentivize it, and
You got to throw a carrot out there, I mean, and a $20 for a really glowing 5-star review. If you're getting, 20 a month or more, that's way worth, the
Mhm.
$400 or
Not
500.
only that, but the recognition of it, them having their name in it, probably makes them feel
Right.
really good, and
Yep. Yep.
that's rewarding both ways.
Yeah. So kind of everybody wins.
So what else do you do? What else does your company do besides the review
I,
cards?
I would say, that I really kind of concentrate on the Google business profile as far as optimizing it. There's a lot of things you can do in there that that helps tweak the optimization process and should help bring in a lot more leads and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
You've got like your products and your service tabs in the listing. You should kind of build out a listing for every type of service you do with like, probably 50 or 100 word explanation with keywords in there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Products, you could kind of emphasize products and talk about the benefits of those and have keywords also listed in there. A lot of times Google, like if you go into your Google listing for your services, they start adding things to your services that they think you do. And you can go in and just say, add these 20 services because they're like keywords basically that you're going to show up for. So
Right.
Google's always trying to help you. It's just a matter of going into your listing and kind of optimizing it that way. Have your guys, and I talked to you about this. It's very hard to rank your website. Like if I'm in Raleigh, right, and I want to do Raleigh roofers, I'm up against deep pocketed companies that are spending tens of thousands of dollars a month on marketing.
That's
That's
yeah.
that's hard to do to get on that first page, but it's a lot easier to get up on the map ranking because that's done by your proximity, right? So wherever you are. So like, as you start to, let's say I'm in Raleigh, right? And some of my surrounding cities are Chapel Hill and Durham. If I start to get reviews from customers in Durham and Chapel Hill, Google realizes, hey, this is where this guy goes. Let's start showing his listing in this area too, because that's part of where he services. You can also have your guys do like take a picture of a completed job, in another city, and that's another indication to Google. Oh, this guy, these guys are working their listing plus they're in this area. Let's start showing them there. So you'll eventually start to get a big radius around where you're shown. So that's what I recommend doing. It takes work, but it's definitely worth it because most of my guys are gutter, window, roofer guys, and one more incoming phone call a day or 3 or 4 a week make a huge difference.
Now, are you just doing that just on maps, or are there other platforms that you're?
I just do that on maps just
Okay.
because I'm really trying to concentrate on something that's going to show results as fast as possible. So,
Okay.
within the maps listing, you can see your incoming calls coming in from that map listing, your website clicks and all that stuff. And once you start to see this stuff, you'll see that graph start to trend up. And as long as you keep doing it, they're going to continue to feed you more rankings.
So you recommend like posting often on your maps, like you're
Yep.
uploading pictures.
Yeah, it has like an update button, so you hit that update button and then you have different things. You could put one as like a special, could be an update, or you could be one as just, a before after picture in a surrounding city or whatever the case may be. But basically, just use as many of the options as possible within Google. And for most guys, just becoming like one of the higher rated, most reviewed is going to be enough to keep your phone ringing off the hook.
Right. Right. And then the more reviews you get, does that help you get higher up on the maps?
100%. It gets you higher up on the maps, and also depending on where those reviews are coming from, higher up on the maps in cities that you're not necessarily right next to. You know what I mean? So like I said, it's about expanding that radius that you start to show up on.
So when someone leaves a review, Google's going to know what city that's coming from.
Yep, yeah. It's all done by your geolocation on your phone. They know
Okay,
where everybody is down to the foot. You know what I mean?
that makes
So
sense.
right. So that's like one thing I would say highly recommend not doing is buying reviews. You see some people are shady and trying to sell you reviews. That's going to backfire because Google's going to know that these are coming from
Di-
Pakistan, India.
Different countries.
Yeah, right. I mean, they're billion, trillion-dollar businesses for a reason. So you're not going to be able to outsmart them. Just do the hard work and reach out to your customers. It also gives you an opportunity to kind of ask them for referrals. Why not? If you're already asking for reviews, if they say, yeah, I'd love to, then shoot them back an email. Thanks a lot. We're always looking for customers like you and blah blah blah. Go into a referral pitch.
Sure. Yeah, I've heard some horror stories about guys that bought those reviews where it like backfired on them, and if they made
Yep.
the guy mad who gave them the reviews, they turned around and gave them hundreds of bad reviews.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Do you make a deal with the devil? Sometimes that happens, right?
Yeah, yeah. I heard that a
I
couple
have
times.
I have seen it. I had someone that was buying reviews, and then they probably bought a couple hundred, and then all of a sudden they just started dropping off. Like Google kind of caught on to the provider, and I think they just wiped out whatever they had done for all these different contractors. So, one thing that I was going to say, like, if I did like Raleigh roofers, right, and in my area, I'm going to see like some heavy hitters with 200 or 300 reviews. And that's kind of intimidating for like a smaller guy. They're like, how do I even start? Right. And that's where you kind of reach out to your friends, your family, your old customers, and then put a system in place. It's going to take you a while to catch up to those guys, but I promise you, you're doing a lot better job than most of your competitors, as long as you have a system.
Right. A lot of the big companies are not getting the reviews as fast anymore because
No,
they're not
no.
as hungry for it.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, they're probably doing fine as far as lead generation as it is. So they kind of could sit on their laurels. So if you can come in guns blazing, pick up, 50 new reviews in the first couple months, you're going to make some waves.
What is your feelings about like Yelp and stuff like that?
Um, I feel like Yelp is really more along the lines of like restaurants and stuff like that. I know that it's super hard to get reviews on Yelp for your customers too. I don't know if it's like, 1 in 10 have a Yelp account, and then you have to basically reach, you know, 50 of those people to get a couple reviews. It's just, I don't know if it's worth it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I kind of
I
felt
would
the same way.
concentrate on Google, you know,
Yeah.
um, and kind of go from there. And also, Google, Yelp has a pretty bad reputation in terms of the way they treat business owners. They had some class action suits against them. They basically were saying, "Oh, well, we'll take care of reviews if you start to advertise with us and things like that." So, ran
Little
pretty
shady business there.
shady business,
Yeah.
right? So, I'm definitely not pro Yelp.
So no, I agree. I never really focused on it.
Mm-hmm. And there's also too, I guess while we're kind of finishing up on reviews, there is a way to like, competitors sometimes will leave you a review, 1 star and kind of rip you. there is a way to reach out to Google and get that removed. As long as you can prove that, this wasn't a customer or this might be a competitor or something like that.
So I've done that before. I had a disgruntled employee one time. I ended up getting it removed. But
Mhm.
say if someone does go through that, what should they bring to Google to help for the proof?
Right. So for you, I guess, like, if you had an old W-2 or something like that, then the name matched the Google review person. I mean, that would be a no-brainer. You know
Uh,
what I mean? So you have to kind of think outside the box a little bit. Uh,
sure.
Also you could maybe even like take a screenshot of your database and you could show that I don't have this person in my database. That might help a little bit. I mean, you could manipulate that probably, they could say, but at least it's something saying, hey,
Something, right?
this guy wasn't a customer. He was never a customer. I don't know where he came from. I suspect it's a competitor, and I'd like to take this down because it's not valid.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes
They're
sense.
trying to
So,
work with you. They don't really have the back of a random guy that leaves some review. I mean, if you're a legit business going through that process, they're going to try to probably, work with you on something like that.
right. Um, have you heard of them withholding reviews? Like I've heard a couple stories of
Yep.
them withholding reviews, guys having to
Yep.
get hold of them, and then all of a sudden they got 50 more reviews overnight.
Yeah, that recently, like within the last year, you started hearing about that. For whatever reason, they have some kind of filter that they try to screen out the bullshit reviews, right? And sometimes good ones get caught up in that filter. So, like, I know that you get an email each time you get a review, basically with that person's name. So,
Mm-hmm.
what I would do if you start to see that not show up on your Google listing, but you have that email, if you screenshot that and say, hey, I got this review from Joe, and it never showed up in Google, it might get caught up in your filter. Can we get it out of there? They'll start to look, and then they'll look in your filter and they'll release like not one, but 15, 20, or 30.
Right.
They've been doing that. So that
So
happens.
that's what it is. You will have an email still, it just doesn't show up.
Right, right. You know how, like you say, you just got a new guy review, 5-star review from Joe, and then
Right.
it shows it like as a screenshot, basically. I would just, take that image and use that as ammo to try to get that taken out of the filter.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yep.
So yeah, because I've heard a lot of people and they just don't know what to do, but just reach out and show them the proof.
Hmm. Yep.
It's good info.
Thanks.
So what are your services completely? I know that you work with
Sure.
apps and I know that you do
I
reviews,
definitely
but
like, the Google reviews, the Google optimization is probably, my main thing. But I also, once I kind of start to work with a customer, as long as we have a good working relationship, I'll try to help them out with their database because I found that typically, home service guys are not the best at continuing to market to those, whether it's SMS or email or whatever the case may be. So, there's basically like 3 buckets it would fall into in your database. It would be, customers that like you gave a quote to and then they ghosted you for whatever reason. That's
sure.
that's a really fast way to get jobs, coming in and on the books, is reach out to those guys from 30 days ago that got a quote, and they got 4 or 5 quotes, and then little Johnny broke his leg at soccer practice and they forgot about it or
Put on the
whatever.
back burner.
Right, right. So, a lot of those people still want to get that job done. They went through the effort of having quotes and stuff. They just didn't, the timing was off. So, if you can reach out to them with just a simple text, even have your sales guys do it from last month, just a text to say, hey, hey, Joe, I know we came out last month and gave you a quote on your gutters. Are you still looking to get that project done? And just as simple as that. And that way you can update your CRM. If they say, no, I'm good, then you can, that's one less thing for you to worry about. And best case scenario is to say, you know what, I forgot about that. Let's, is that the best price you can do? Or, how far out are you or whatever? It starts that conversation again.
Hmm.
So what I'll do is I will have my clients give me their database of their missed estimates or, missed sales from the last month.
Okay.
And I do a direct email text message to them, and then I basically pretend like an employee to try to bring them back into the fold, and then I hand it off to whoever their schedule is, you know.
Sure.
So
Like
so that's
that.
a basically what I'm trying to do within that first 3 months is get you a ton of reviews, get your rankings up, get your database tight, as far as like updated and things like that, and then try to bring in more jobs without really having to pay more for advertising. A lot of marketers, their whole angle is I can get you more leads, more leads, more leads, but if you're only closing 2 out of 10, another 20 leads doesn't help you. Let's figure out how to close 4 out of 10.
A lot of times it's not more leads, but getting a higher
Yep.
closing rate and more
Yep.
out of your
Yep.
database.
Yep. Higher quality to begin with, and then, a higher closing rate. So, I found that's kind of a need that a lot, because I mean, I've sold before, sold roofs and gutters and stuff. And I know how it is. If you're with a real company, they got you going on 2 or 3 quotes a day, you know, those quotes from last month are are long gone in your mind. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you might have that call where it's like pennies from heaven. They're saying, okay, we're ready to go. 6 months later, they give you a call and you're like, who the hell are you? You know? Uh, I'd like to just get more calls like that for my customers. So that's how I leverage the SMS and email that way.
Okay. Do you do anything with like the old customers, like from
Mhm.
years ago?
Yep. Yeah. So basically the one bucket is demo no sale, I call it. Then the another bucket would be just overall customers. Just that's the catch-all. If you've got their contact information, send them a quarterly email with just some tips. Spring's coming up. This is what you can do to get your house ready for the spring or fall or winter or whatever. There's lots of information out there now with AI too. You can get stuff,
Yeah, you just type in something.
basically type in a prompt and it automatically shoots out your email for you. So, that's what I recommend doing. And then the third bucket would be, and this is one that, people don't talk about as much, but if you had 10 people reach out to try to get an estimate from you, right? And usually you can book like 7 out of 10,
Right.
but those other three, they're just in the void, right? So let's reach out to those guys a couple more times and see if we can get 1 out of the 3 to actually, book an appointment.
Maybe they filled out on a form, but then you couldn't get a hold of them.
Yeah, yeah, it happens all the time. It's usually like if you book 7 out of 10 of your leads coming in, that's pretty good. It's probably more like 5 to 6, out of 10.
Right.
That's money left on the table that you spend on advertising or whatever that you're just not maximizing.
I know a lot of these gutter guys don't know what to market to their previous customers, but a lot of these guys, they could be sold maintenance plans. They still
Yeah.
need gutter clean outs, they
Sure.
might need gutter guards,
Yep.
and they need maintenance.
Yep.
And so there's always something to kind of remind them of that you're there and
Yep.
on the
Not to mention,
schedule.
people move every 4 or 5 years. So like your whole database turns over every 5 years. So if you've been around for 15 years, you've got a lot of folks in there
They
that
might be in another house ready to put
they're in
that.
another house. They might be out of the town too, but you never know until you reach out to them. So,
Mhm.
you know, um, I feel like, home services has had a hell of a run since COVID, and I think things eventually going to slow down. So you're probably going to have more time than you anticipated in the next year or two. So now's the time to kind of put your sales guys on that, develop good habits and outreach to the old customers.
Get ahead of it.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah. Yeah, I think outreach is something that a lot of people just don't really think about that much. Like they're only thinking
Nobody really
about
likes to do it. I mean, but I think now with automation and stuff, you don't need to cold call anymore. More, you just kind of shoot them a text with, hey, this is Jay with Dunbar Roofing. Just wanted to touch base. Hey, here's another one too. A lot of times you can like, in your CRM, you completed this job in February of 2023. You can
Mhm.
send them an anniversary text, just touching base with them saying, hey,
In a
happy
year.
anniversary. How do you like your new gutters? Are there any problems? We'd be happy to fix them. You're under warranty, blah, blah, blah. just an excuse to go out there and stay top of mind with those folks.
That's smart.
Hmm.
Yeah, I would have never thought of that.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I got so much shit in my head that kind of swirls around. And eventually, if I talk enough, I get some good idea, some
Yeah,
good ideas there, you know?
absolutely. Hey, what's the best way to track that?
Well, I mean, I guess it'd be your CR. You mean in terms of like
When
setting up
it's been a
a system?
year?
Yeah, I mean, you would like, I know that the software I use, I'm able to put a text out and schedule it. So I can say, okay, well, I closed this deal in 2023 in February of the 17th or whatever. Then I can go in and say, okay, on the 17th of February 2023, send them this templated text
So
or
maybe
email.
you could get your admin into a system as
Right.
soon as the job's closed
As soon as
out.
the
You can
job's done,
schedule
then you set
things.
that up, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
that makes sense. That'll make it easy because just have the admin do it, and it's just a
Yeah.
process you put in place.
Yeah, I mean, if even if you're doing 10 jobs a day, it's not that much more time to do that. And, one out of every 20 might result in a new job. You know what I mean? So it's
Mm-hmm.
worth it.
Or a referral, or
Yeah, a referral for sure.
Mhm.
I mean, people just don't, that's definitely something that isn't talked about as much. I mean, that's kind of the lion's share of how people get business typically. But to put a system in place, even if it's as simple as just asking via email and text, makes a huge difference.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all about uh, automating that, and that way it's a system, and you don't have to worry about human error.
Got it. So you're helping with reviews, and you're helping with having review cards out there to get the
Hmm.
review rates up, and
Yep.
you're also doing some database work and then heavily in the maps.
Yeah, so like the way I set it up is, I'll work with someone, we'll develop a review system. So actually, the review cards are just part of it.
Okay.
My system has AI that will automatically respond to those Google reviews as soon as they
Oh,
go live.
nice.
So that's one less thing for them to worry about. And then it also creates an image of that review and auto posts on Facebook and Instagram. So it's a whole system around getting you more reviews, responding to those reviews for better rankings, and then leveraging those reviews for
By
marketing.
posting them.
Yep.
And those postings, they help keep you ranking up high because
That helps too, right? Anytime you interact with basically any of those big social media sites, they recognize that, and they're going to show it to more people because
and
those
this
show up in people that like your page, right?
and
So
just so we're clear with everybody, this is separate than SEO. So this isn't the same thing that's ranking your
it's a
website
subset of SEO, really. You know what I mean?
subset.
It's kind of like they call it Maps SEO or like something like that, Google listing
Mhm.
optimization. Whereas SEO in the traditional sense is like the organic links that you see. This is the
Sure.
map with the red dots.
Okay. But
And the
it's going
red
to help
dots are,
drive traffic to the
yep,
websites because you're going to have that
yep.
link in there.
And that shows up, on the first page, and it's a lot easier to show up in your area on the maps versus trying to compete with, like I said, Yelp or Thumbtack or anybody else is trying to rank for Raleigh roofers.
Sure.
So, but yeah, and then, so I have that system for the reviews, and then typically, I want to work with somebody and make sure they want to work with me. So after a month or two, I have to ask them about their database and their follow-up process. And then I actually set it up for them where it's like no risk. So I just get paid if they get paid. So they don't have anything to worry. It's basically free money for them. You know what I mean? So I put it
Right.
through my system, and if I get them 10 extra jobs, then we work out what I get paid, depending.
How does that work?
It depends on the job, really. But I would say probably between 5 and 10% would
Okay.
be what I would shoot for. I mean, if it's a $70,000 kitchen, 5% is fair to me. If it's a $2,000 gutter, then 10% is probably worth my time. You know what I mean? So it just depends. But really, what I'm trying to do is just maximize the assets they have, and
Mhm.
having a big ass database of customers that they've never reached out to is a gold mine. So
Oh
uh,
yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
that's why I want them to get involved there. And then we talked about too, like this might be good for those guys to do like a Facebook group.
Mhm.
I have in my area, I live in a called Wake County, and
Okay.
it's called Wake County Home Improvements on Facebook. You can join if you want to, but basically, if you're a gutter contractor, you could set up your own group for home improvements in Rochester or whatever, right? And then as you start to get members and have people join, um, Google's gonna not Google, Facebook is gonna recommend that to people that are similar, and then your group is gonna grow. So my group's like at 20,000 members now, and there's probably 10 to 20 posts for people looking for local services like roofing and carpet cleaning and flooring and stuff like that. And that gives you an opportunity to build out a referral network. So as soon as you start to see those leads come in, you could reach out to people that are plumbers and say, hey, I've got this group. I want you to join. I'd be happy to recommend you. Please keep me in mind if you hear about anybody looking for gutter services. And then before you know it, you have basically 20 other contractors looking for business for you, and you're doing the same.
Right, and you got people referring you because you're referring them.
Right, right. So it's
And you
almost
could
like getting a sales force, overnight, really. And as long as, people try that without this asset, the Facebook group, but like if you have that behind you and you're sending them leads, they're definitely going to reciprocate.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty big in the local groups too. What's your recommendation for, I know that you said that you could probably buy some of these groups. You could kind of find a group and offer someone.
Yeah, well, or you could just say, hey, look, can I become an admin? And
Hmm.
that's how I started. I didn't start this group. This group had been around since I think 2017. And a couple of years into it, I reached out to the girl that was the admin and said, hey, do you need some help? Because she doesn't want, she's not an internet marketer. She doesn't want to
Yeah,
install stuff, right?
she was
So
probably
I just
started the group.
yeah. And it took off. So I just reached out to her and said, hey, I'll do the heavy lifting. I ended up basically running the thing and giving her all the carpentry jobs, right?
Okay.
And then eventually she moved and I ended up buying the group from her for like $500, which is nothing. You know what I mean? For
No, no.
20,000 homeowners, to basically be able to pitch them when I want to
And
is
that's a digital asset. So having that owned for your
yes.
company, if you ever sell your company down the road, that asset could go with it and be
Yep.
part of the value.
No question. Yeah, I mean that opens up a lot of doors, and for if it's a gutter guy and he's reaching out to a flooring guy, it's one thing to just say, "Hey, look, I'll send you some leads. You send me some leads," and they say, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, whatever." They hang up the phone. But if you send them a link to that Facebook group and there's 1,000 people on there and they see the posts of people asking for stuff, they know you're legit, right? And you can deliver. So I think that makes your pitch a lot more receptive.
And you keep your site pretty clean, right? You're not just letting
I
spam
do,
on
I
you.
do, I do something a little different where I don't allow any business owners to do promotional posts. So the only posts on there are people looking for recommendations or tips or whatever. It's not always recommendations. It might be somebody that just needs help. They've got a leak in their toilet and, something simple they could fix. But, it's all about providing value for that homeowner. So I don't allow the pitching, because then it turns into a spam fest and there's no value in the group.
And everybody quits participating and then you're
Right,
good for
right. There's no reason to go there because it's just like, it's like a Facebook feed of all ads. It's just so yeah, that's what I did. And then and I'd recommend doing the same thing. I tell people when they join the group, there's no promotions. I tell them in welcome email, no promotions. And then invariably there's some knucklehead that his first post is, hey, I'm running a spring special, and I just delete, you're done,
Yep. Yep.
I don't have time to try to figure out who I gave one strike to versus two strikes, and you know what I mean? You're
Yeah,
out.
I
You're
do.
out. Yep.
I do the same thing on my groups.
You're right. Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's not worth it. I tried to be cool about it, but hey, if you can't read the rules and follow the rules when I tell you two or three times, in the first interactions, then you're probably just knucklehead anyway,
Yeah.
so.
So if you were to give like one piece of advice to the gutter guys for building their reviews and their name, what's like that one nugget that sticks out the most to you?
I would say the easiest way to do things is go to your Google listing. First of all, make sure it's like verified. Go to your Google, make sure it's verified, because if it isn't verified, then you're not going to show up, right? So
Okay.
make sure that's verified. And then within that listing, if you click on the more information button, I think it's in the bottom right, it'll say reviews. There'll be a button there, right? And there'll be a shortened link that goes straight to your Google reviews. So for someone to leave a Google review for you, I would say make a copy of that link and then put together just a quick little text that says, hey, first name, it's Jay from Jay's Gutter Service. We're really trying to bump up our reviews on Google. We'd appreciate if you could leave us a review. And then just do that to your buddies. Doesn't matter if they live in town as much, just get it out there, get that link out there. I would say a lot of times the CRMs do like an email blast, do an email blast to your customers, and then that'll get the ball rolling, right? Make sure you respond to them, but you'll start to see your rankings go up, and then also incoming calls and stuff like that.
Good deal, man.
Yeah.
What's the best way for them to reach out to you? For them to work with you and get
I
those
think
cards
you know what? I'll probably give you like a Calendly link that you can drop in the comments.
Sure.
And anybody that wants to meet with me, I'd be happy to make them a Google review card, and I can mail it to them just for me.
I know you do the cards for David Watt. I was talking to him.
Yeah.
He said he loves them. His
Yeah,
reviews
yeah.
are really picking up.
Yeah, we just went, he was down here for some training in Raleigh, and we went out and grabbed coffee at Starbucks. So I've got digital business cards that are kind of like those dot cards if you want any of those, or if you wanted like a Google review card. Basically, it's kind of a little sweetener to meet with me, and I can go through your process and see if I can help you or at least give you some advice.
Good deal, man. Well, it's glad having you on here. I think it's just some good info, and I think everybody will kind of learn from it. And
well, I hope so. I really appreciate you having me on there, and it was a lot of fun.
Yep, absolutely. So guys, reach out to Jay, and he'll help you with those cards and maybe some other stuff.
Sounds good. Thanks.
All right, man. Thanks for coming on. Have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.